From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Morreale and Hitch.
All right, Robbie, nice haircut, buddy. That's not a haircut. That's a pompadour. You look like Conan O'Brien. That's who you look like right now.
I look good. Look at that.
Listen, welcome to our fans, all of them, not too many, to the Morreale and Hitch podcast. Hitch, it's good to be back, buddy. This is podcast number whatever. I've lost track. We've had this great run the last 5 weeks. I think it's been 5 weeks, series of guests week after week. We're all pumped for a secret guest today, and they screwed us over.
Yep.
Completely.
You know who it was?
Completely.
Bucko screwed us over.
Guaranteed he did.
Yep.
I can tell. Well, it's we're going to have to make do. I feel bad for our audience, is what I feel bad for, because the preparation time has been limited, as you know.
Yeah, very limited.
It's been very limited. So we're just going to get into it. For those people who have never tuned into the show before, please expect very little. But at the same time, just sit back, relax. I mean, it'll be a good use of your time as we talk gibberish about this, that, and the other thing. We don't even know what it is yet. No guests today.
No guests.
No guests today. So you start. As per usual, let's start a little bit on the football side.
The 30 minutes of our guest is really good because that helps us out because we have no content. But I was thinking about it. I was on for the last 5 minutes because you're getting a coffee, as I see you're drinking it right now. And,
Thank you.
And you're in Vancouver, correct, or Edmonton?
No, I just got to Edmonton. And guess who I just saw? I did not know who was in town. Our buddy Mike O'Shea is playing tonight against the Elks.
Did you see him?
I just saw him. I will see him again, and I will be his guest on the sideline. And let me back up even a bit further. I screwed up because I was in Vancouver. I brought my wife and my youngest daughter there because I've been doing so much travel. I wanted to bring them along for the ride. And I left yesterday. But the Cats played, as we know, in BC yesterday. And I was literally staying right beside the stadium. So anyways, I couldn't change my stuff. I wish I would have known in the beginning. But what happened last night? Oh, buddy. Again.
You know what?
Again.
297 yards from Evans. He looked good.
It looked great.
He looked good. They rushed the ball. They moved the ball on the ground. A couple turnovers. I think there was only two.
Right
but
here.
I don't know, but I think every week we're mind boggled except for last week, and they almost lost it last week, as we talked on our last show. Like they could have lost that game with a 54-yard field goal. The guy missed, and they ended up winning. But they are the two teams, Ottawa and Hamilton, have one win combined, and the fourth place team, Edmonton, has 2 wins, and they're last in the West. They have more wins than the bottom 2 teams in Hamilton. Like, I don't know, buddy.
The top 2 teams.
The top 2 teams, yeah. But I do see some light, maybe, I'm hoping. But they play the next 6 games. They play Toronto 4 times and Montreal twice. Yeah. So there's your season, right?
Yes, your season's right there.
You can't go 50-50 against Toronto and split a series against Montreal. You can't. You got to win them, or you're going to be. There's a crossover 100% this year.
Oh, I got you. 100%.
Has to be.
And then it has to be. And I know there's a lot of football left, but at some point we got to be realistic here.
Yeah.
And I think you and I have seen enough to know this team needs to find a way to win. They haven't found a way to win. No. Some may say they found a way to win against Ottawa. I would say they almost found a way to lose again because they gave them an opportunity at a long field goal, which was makeable as we saw that. So work needs to be done, and this has nothing to do with skill at this point. This is really heart, desire, the ability to pull out close games. They're missing a guy like Simone, so there's a guy. You need those leaders to step up. But a single guy in football cannot win or lose you a game. No. So I don't care what you say about Dane Evans, whether you love him or hate him. He's not the reason you're winning or losing. It's a team effort, and the guys just aren't getting it done.
Here's some stats. 24 first downs, 294 yards, 117 yards pass or rushing, 411 yards total, and you get 12 points. You don't score. You don't score in the first quarter. You don't score in the fourth. Telephone.
Yeah. Who's calling you, buddy? Who's
just
calling
a buddy of mine. Just a buddy. You're gonna laugh at this. So I did the pregame show yesterday, right, with Andy Fantus and Bubs.
Yeah.
This is unreal. It was 9:40 at night. I'm outside and I'm watching the Ottawa game. And anyways, they started asking me a question, and there's some stuff going on in the backyard. So I'm just listening, and all of a sudden, if Andy Fantus says, "Hey Hitch, so Delvin Breaux's back and blah blah blah," and he's going on. There's a lot of hype of him, playing again. He's come back from the NFL, and I said, "Yeah, He goes, he's one guy." I said, it takes the other 11 guys on defense to make it, so I wouldn't worry about him too much. I thought he was playing for the Ticats. Can you believe it? I was like, I looked over after I see him on the field. He's jacked. I'm like, oh my God, he plays for BC. I text Andy before the half. I said, oh my God, I am a cheeseburger. I said, can you believe? I said, I totally did it sound like I sounded like he was playing for Hamilton. He goes, no, you pushed it off. He was really cool because you didn't say what team he was playing for, but you said he's only one guy. He's only one guy because there's a lot of hype on him that week, right? I couldn't believe it. He's playing for BC.
It was such a shitty answer that it worked. It actually was so vague that it worked.
And Fatu said, oh my God, it was perfect. I said, well, I'm not going to tell anyone that I said that, but now probably 17 people know now. Oh God.
My God. I would have done the same thing, honestly, because
I didn't know, bro.
Unless you're in tune with it every day.
No,
if you figure Bro's coming back, that Bro's going to come to Hamilton. But it's funny because I watched the game last night and I saw Delvin Breaux. I'm like, oh, he's at BC. I didn't even know.
No, see?
I didn't even know.
So I don't feel bad then.
Yeah, for our fans, please don't think that Rob and I know everything about what's going on here. We don't.
No.
We're just podcasters at this point in time.
Yeah,
we're podcasters and fans, just like the rest of you.
With bad hair.
Oh, man, it's been good. So I had, with bad hair. Yeah. I need a cut here, too. Now, this is the thing. Should I get a haircut in Edmonton?
No.
That's like getting sushi in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
it's like, you got to have your limits.
No, you can't get a haircut there. No way. Unless you want it to look like this. I paid $57 for that cut yesterday.
No, you didn't.
I did. He didn't even cut it.
It doesn't even look cut.
Yeah, the sides were
even
long.
around the ears aren't even clear.
No, it's nice. It's nice.
So at what last game? You were at the last home game, I think. I saw you and Sandy Beveridge and I think Tasker signing autographs there. There's a picture of you. It's just a bad angle. I'll give you props. Bad angle.
Serious?
It's not the way you look normally. You looked like your dad.
Really? Eh?
You looked like, that's not a bad thing either.
Well,
but
he had a head on him like a water buffalo.
He had the big face, so you were starting.
Mine's big too in the screen right now. I'm holding water. Angle.
How was that? Because I haven't had a chance to get back this year. How was the game day experience? How was the fans?
It was great. Great day. My gosh, the weather wise was fantastic. The ambassador was Tasker.
Oh, yeah.
Tasker was the alumni ambassador, and then Sandy Beveridge decided that because Pigskin Pete wasn't there, right? So he decided to put his hat on.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he looks so stupid
Terrible.
too. I said, Sandy, oh, here goes my dogs in the background. Anyways, hear him?
Oh yeah.
A dog, a Doberman just went by, and he's like a white 18-pound white golden doodle. He thinks he's tough. Yeah, behind the window. Anyway, so he starts. We had to do the Oski Wee Wee. So it was myself, Tasker, Bob Young was in the middle, and I think
the athletes. You had all the athletes out there.
Yeah, it was good. And Sandy led it off. Oh boy, he's funny. Good old Sandy. We got some good stories about Sandy, but he's probably listening.
We can. Oh, yeah. He probably is one of our listeners, which thank you, Sandy, for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, we got to keep going on what you just said earlier about you on the sidelines. I want to hear this.
Yeah. So, so here's my kind of – I was in Edmonton, not long ago, maybe 10 – here, where I am now, 10 days ago for a game. Then I flew last week to Vancouver, spent some time there. Saw our buddy Noah Cantor. Those are great to see Noah. Made sure I ate for free at Beerus Burger Shack.
Yeah,
so if anybody that's
still got that place, eh?
Oh yeah, he's got 9 of them, I think.
Wow, 9 of them. Well,
He's doing okay. So him and the family, we did this beautiful. I mean, when you're in, listen, Vancouver's so expensive. I don't know how people can afford to live there. But when the sun is shining, there's not a more pretty place on this bloody country. It is incredible. So I spent some time with him. I snuck in a little trip. Saw our boy Osh about a week ago, and then just ran into him again tonight. So he says, "Hey, do you want to come to the game?" I'm like, "Why not? I got nothing else going on tonight, and be on the sidelines." You know what it's like on the sidelines, eh? Now, as a former player, this is just my thing. It scares me on the sidelines. I'm thinking, ooh, those tackles and headshots and body shots, and it's fast, and like we played that crap. But what were you thinking? For like $37,000 to start, or what? What were you thinking?
$29,500 my first year. Remember? $29,500, and I paid my agent 3%, and that's what I made. So I lost money.
Oh my! But you had your Mustang, eh? Remember the convertible Mustang?
88 convertible Mustang was the best. I was broke by February. Broke.
Yeah, when you rode, who's your boy? You rode down, both shirts off. You're the guy, the good-looking guy, the linebacker. What was his name?
Yeah, he did the shampoo commercials in the States.
Yeah, what the heck was his name?
The linebacker.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
we're not going to get him on this show because
he was a good-looking
you won't
guy.
even know who he is.
What the heck was his name?
But you two were a pair. Because that was '95. That was before I got there in '96. So you kind of had a run of the town there, eh? For that first year. Yeah.
Then I met Michelle in '96.
Nah, that's it. Then it was game changer. Then you did the smart thing. You packed and moved to St. Catharines.
Yeah, I did.
Probably the best move you ever could have made.
Yeah,
very
that's
smart.
Probably the best thing I made.
Who was that guy's name? What was his name?
So it's we got to get I think I have a '95 playbook or whatever it's called here. I think
because remember they had stayed in that apartment downtown, and then you guys used to roll over there, and they're just a bunch of cheeseburgers, just out every night having a good time. Which I mean that's what we all did. So
that was almost 30 years ago, eh?
I know. Wow.
95. 23
what has
years
happened?
Ago.
What has happened?
Anyways, 25 years.
So I'm going to check out a couple teams tonight that I never played for, but we got friends on both sides, and I thought, what the heck? I mean, Edmonton's a beautiful day, and that West is tough. Is tough.
Osh going to make you wear a Bomber jersey?
Oh, I don't know. That's a bit sacrilegious. I know.
He might make you wear the golf top.
Know.
I bet you will. Or stick, Kyle Walters.
Fair enough. I saw our boy Wade Miller, too, because I was walking around downtown. They're staying at the Westin, so I rolled in there.
He lost some weight, eh? He lost some weight.
I think he lost about a Ticats worth of weight. But
I saw him at Grey Cup. I was like,
he's not
the best special teams. No,
he's not
you're the best. You played the best special teams player, most tackles in the history of the league, and you're 404 right now. Oh my gosh!
Oh dear God! Oh, and then so I see O'Shea, and we love to rip on O'Shea because he'd be the first to destroy us. That's why I'm so nervous about tonight. Because I know if I try screw around with him, he'll get me back times 100 because it's game day. But I need to do something to him. I need to do something. I don't know what it is yet.
You should.
I don't know what it is, but I'm going to think of something.
Well, you've got access to you're on the field, right?
So
you can't do anything. You can't do anything in the game. He'll actually kill you if you did anything on the field.
Oh yeah, during the game,
he would kill you. Really,
it is in his bad T-shirt and in practice shorts.
Oh, there you go. You're frozen now.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, you're frozen. You're frozen.
You're frozen.
Oh.
Okay, we're both good now. So it'll be good to hang out there and see him and do all that crap. But I don't know, man. It's the season's well on the way. I mean, a lot of football to be played, a lot of work to be done. So, where does that leave kind of the Ticats going forward? We talked about the games against the East. Those are like what we call 4-point games, right? Because you win, you get your 2, but you also knock down, Ottawa or Montreal or Toronto 2, and you create that gap. So it could be a real game changer. At some point, we're going to say it's hopeless, or hopefully we won't ever. But at this point in time, there's still some hope left. But, man, they got to start winning some games.
Yeah, getting on a different topic. We got to talk a little bit about our friend Scott Mitchell's father, Doug,
Yes.
and what impact that he had on our league. He's from Calgary, of course, and a lawyer, and our CFL commissioner from 84 to 88, and what he did and how he brought this game to not just Calgary but to the whole of all of Canada. And he was a big part of why the CFL is successful. And sad day, we lost him yesterday, I think it was, right?
Yeah, the news came out yesterday.
Yeah, so our hearts go out to the Mitchell family, and our hearts and prayers go out to you guys. And Scott's a good friend of ours, and we're with you, pal.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's a football family. They've certainly seen and supported all levels of football. So, man, we're getting that age, Rob, that's going to happen to our friends, and I know you already experienced it. It's just, oh, man, the circle of life. But it's just great to celebrate at the same time.
Exactly. And also two other ones. Again, you hit the nail on the head. I was talking with Butko, our lovely producer, before you got on when you were getting your coffee. And I said, Mike and I, we're at that age now. We're in our 50s, and, parents and, grandparents and, stuff like that are inevitable, right, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, right? So this is the stuff. So yesterday, a friend, you remember Paul Cook?
Oh, yeah.
Bubba?
Yeah.
So one of my brother's best friends, but I've known him since I was born. His brother, Dennis Cook, passed away, heart attack yesterday. To the Cook family, I think he was just over 60. He was a big man, too. We made some fun of him back in the day. He was like 6'8".
Really?
Like 400. He used to be the all-time punter for us when we were kids. All he had to do was punt the ball. He used to punt it like 80 yards downfield. But
never ran.
Paul Cook and Bruce, again, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys as well. I know they listen. And but one quick story with him is they went over the border years ago with his brother, and he's got a buffalo bison head. Honest to God, his head is like a buff. They wouldn't let him over the border because they said he stole the mascot's head. So they laugh at that story. We talked about that yesterday. So do you remember that? You went over the border, you told the guard you better not let him through because he stole the buffalo bison head, and he had nothing on. It was just his head was so big.
Like an orange on a toothpick. One of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You've been frozen for like the last 5 minutes.
I think I'm good now. No,
your face.
Butko, what's going on here?
Stupid looking face on my end. No, I can hear you. The video's off.
Okay,
Bucko doesn't know. Bucko has no idea. We talked. He's the producer. We're going to stop using that.
Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't even be on camera anymore. My face is too fat. But listen, we got my good friend Scotty DeMont as well. His mother passed away 4 days ago, to the DeMont family as well. So it's been three deaths of people that I know in the last 4 or 5 days. So it's a little sad, but it's a good celebration of life, and thoughts and prayers are with everybody.
Yeah, they say it happens in threes, Rob. So let's hope it's done for a while. But it's amazing, especially sport, right? Brings you together, talking about your buddies there, talking about Scott. I remember playing against Scott Mitchell when he was a receiver at University of Toronto, and I was at McMaster. So, his family and what they've done. So it is, these are sad times. We'll celebrate, we'll move on, we'll remember and be thankful for all the good things that happened. And just take it from there. The CFL is a really tight-knit family, right? And that's the one thing that's been the best, is getting the support from everybody else. So,
well said.
Yeah. Well, listen, where do we go from here? What have we talked yet about? Really, we mentioned Danny getting put up on the wall last week when we were talking to our friend Calvin Tego, which was great, by the way. Having Calvin on the show was like. That was someone I did not expect. Yeah,
Me neither.
The impact that Calvin had on that locker room and on the field was like, it was large. It was definitely large. But it's funny. Robichaux, Maddie, who's a big, Big fan of ours. He's one of our 11 listeners. He wrote and said, "Oh,
he's a painter
is he?
now. He's a
he likes
painter.
to paint. No, he likes to paint. No, he likes to paint.
He likes to paint.
He's got a new gig at Laurier. So a little plug to Roby. But Roby was saying, "Oh, he'd be a fun guy to play with." Tiggs. I said, "You have no idea. Just an awesome guy to play with." But Roby would know. Roby would fit in just fine. But let's talk a bit about Danny and congratulate him on that. I think that was overdue. I think it's well deserved. And here's a guy that we've spoken about at length. For those people that didn't get a chance to see him play, for some of our younger fans, Danny was the guy that did it all. Consummate teammate, consummate professional, consummate football player. Looked like 3 bags of milk in a thing, but wow, what a guy, what a player, and what an impact he had on our team and on the city.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I couldn't have said any better. And I think it was like maybe 2 bags of milk when he played, but now he's 3 bags of milk. But he, well deserved. Well overdue for what he did when he, not only in the football, not on the field, not only for on the field, but in the community. What he did is at the Children's Hospital for all those years, and he basically got us going to that Children's Hospital because he had a deal going on with those guys, and just went I think we went every couple of weeks.
Yeah, he went.
Remember,
he went all the time. Didn't even tell us.
No,
right?
Yeah, just silently, which is great, and a guy like that deserves it. He was a hell of a teammate, and he could sure drink his beer.
Oof. So we were talking about that.
I think the only other guy pound for pound would beat him would be Andrew Grigg. That would be it.
I think so.
Pound for pound, there's no one in the CFL that can drink more beer than Andrew
It'd be totally
Grigg.
fine. It'd be totally fine.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't even notice. Amazing. Amazing.
He's a
I think I would suggest that out of the top 3 guys that can put him back in a very respectful manner, never get mad, never get angry, just can give her. I think we played with all 3. Danny was a legend. Grigger is a legend. And Val St. Germain. I mean, that was like...
He did get a bit sloppy, though, at the end.
Well, his face would get so fat and puffy from the case of beer he just drank and the 14 shots, and his lips would get all like big, and he wouldn't be able to say too much. But he was hilarious. Honest to God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You know who else could drink beers and then crush them over his head is Mike Campbell.
Yeah.
Remember, he used to drink.
He's just a different beast.
Yeah.
He's a different beast.
So we got to put that. Getting back to Danny, we got to put that, of course, on our calendars. I think it's October 4th.
I think 7th. It's within there. Yeah,
I'm not quite
6th,
sure
7th,
the date.
something like that.
Yeah, and that'll be a heck of a tribute to him, and we got to do something to him for sure.
But Dave Cadeau had a great idea, and I think you were copied on that. You remember talking about basically recreating the beer room? How cool would that be?
Yeah, I talked to him last week about it, Cadeau, and he said we're going to do it. They're going to try to do it, but they want to do it in the alumni room. And I said, probably not a good idea because there's all the alumni are in there, right? So we just kind of wanted our team. I mean, it'd be great to have all the alumni in there. Maybe we do it that way. And we have everybody in there. But I think there's wives and kids and stuff in there as well. But just a laid back room where we could go in and put a keg in there and recreate that would be a blast. Yeah. And for those who don't know about the keg room, it takes 30 seconds. Brock University, our training camps, we had a keg every single day. After practice, we'd go and have beers before dinner, and we'd invite rookies, and it was just one way that we got to know the rookies. And so that's just a short version for the guys that first-time listeners that don't know any of this, but it was a lot of fun, man.
Oh, yeah. What's the chance that we could get a couple of the current Ticats to serve a couple beers? What do you think? Think the new generation would go for that?
Sandy. Beverage will. We'll get Sandy to do it. We'll dress him up in a white shirt and khaki
Sandy
pants.
And Donnelly, and maybe we'll bring back Kojo Aidu and a few Chris Rankin. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can bring in some guys. We can have some fun with that.
Yeah. Even Ray Marius, we'll get him to do it.
That would be the best part about Danny getting into the wall, you getting into the wall, it's just getting the guys back together. That's really what it's all about. I mean, and Danny will probably tell you just the same. I mean, listen, having your name up in there to last forever is the ultimate. But just having the crew back together, it'll be fun. So I hope this works out. I hope we get tons of guys back. I'm pumped about that.
And for people that have heard the stories before, like we haven't since that reunion, we haven't seen some of the 99 guys. It's some of them in 15, 20 years, right? Like, and for those out there that, have been on teams before, and I'm telling you, Mike, and you know what, Meetsy, that when we saw Tiggs for the first time, or we saw Archie, or we saw someone, we never missed a beat. It was like they left yesterday, and the last time we saw the guy was in 2002. Like, you know what I mean? Like but you never missed a beat. You talked about something and you remember it like that. Like it's. And I
really hope that the current generation, the future generations have that same level of kind of family and respect. And I don't know. Because, when we played, we had to listen to, the Anges and all that, the Moscas back say, well, back in our day, I didn't find ourselves too different. And I think that's why Ange liked us. I think Ange liked us because we were really old school. We were like he was in the 70s, where it was, it was cool to be a Ticat. And not that it still isn't, but it was all for one for all, right? And that's the beauty of it.
But I agree with you that it's family and you're in there and you take care of each other in the locker room. But there's the last 5, 8, 10 years maybe, there's nobody, they're not doing what we used to do in the change of, like, you're just not allowed to do that anymore. You can't have a keg of beer after practice, or just because of the driving and people driving.
Fair enough.
15, 20 years ago, you get in a car and have one or two beers, you drive home, but you don't do that. You don't condone that anymore, right? So it is insurance, it's safety. But having said that, are those guys after rundown, are they getting 2-3 cases of beer and going sitting in the stadium and just getting to know each other? No, I can't see that. I can't see it.
I know.
Not that you'd want them to. Do you need a case of beer, 3-4 cases of beer? No, you don't. But are they hanging out? I don't know. That's the question that I don't. I know they're a close-knit group and they're tight in the locker room. But when they go separate, like, we didn't hang out with everybody on our team.
But we hung
out after practice, but we didn't go to the bars or something. Most of them we did after the games. I bet you there was probably 25 guys that went out after games.
Yeah, especially on the road. I mean, on the road, we were all out, and that, I mean, hell, I would have played every game on the road if we could. We had some good time, but yeah, I mean, it's changed. Yeah. It's the dynamics have changed, and I'm not saying it changed for the worse. It may have changed for the better. I have no idea. Maybe if it curtailed some of those things, it's great. But I'll never regret a minute of the time we spent having a good time and winning football games. Right? It was funny being in Vancouver and staying right beside the BC Stadium there, and then just thinking, man, 1999, which is 23 bloody years ago now, we were in that stadium hoisting the Grey Cup. 23 years later, we haven't been able to do it again. 23 years. So,
and they've been there 3 or 4 times since then.
So
I look back at that Banks return.
Oh God!
Remember that return in Vancouver?
I thought that was going to be the time, too. Right? Perfect.
Yeah, that was it. And then they called that play, that little block, and I didn't really. The kid again didn't have to extend his arm. I don't know, but oh my God, Banks was just finished. Speaking about Banks, what's he doing in Toronto? He's doing nothing. Over
you know what? Listen, I think we've seen it enough times. High-priced free agents. Guys coming back from the NFL, other similar situations. More often than not, I think they think success will come easier, and it doesn't come easier. You got to work on it, right? You gotta approach it like it's year one, and you're investing everything into it. And I don't know. I think sometimes when you land a big deal and somebody brings you in, I don't know. And maybe it's just me, but it happens more often than not. And it's like Banks can play football. There's no doubt about it, But like anybody, when you get older, and from a receiver position, you just play smarter because you can't play faster anymore. So you just got to play smarter. Thankfully, he's still faster than most guys, but Hamilton's got a good set of receivers. They got guys that can make plays. Like Braylon Addison is one of the best receivers, they've come around in a long, long time. And Dunbar's great, and Tim White and those guys are great. And the young Canadian out of Waterloo, I'm going to butcher his last name, so I won't even try it, Turnovsky. They got the makings, and they got a quarterback and get him the ball. And the running game got started finally. But, man, it's about making big plays at the big times, right?
Yep. Well, I'm heading, exactly. I'm heading on Sunday to Ellicottville. This is the golf trip. So we're leaving Sunday morning, and we had a couple guys bail because of they looked at their passports last week and they decided that they were overdue, expired. I'm like, oh great, takes only 19 weeks to get it back. So 2 guys out. So my boy Matt's coming with us.
Oh boy, he's going to see some stuff. He's going to see some stuff.
He's going to see. My wife Michelle's like, he can't go. He's going to be 16. I said, yeah, what was I doing? What were we doing when we were 16? He's going to have some beers with his uncles and his cousins and close friends, and it's fun. There's 12 of us going, and we're right in Holiday Valley, right in Ellicottville. So we play Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 2 nights, four rounds of golf, and I just looked at the weather. It looks like 80% rain on Sunday.
Beautiful.
So get the rye out. Get the rye out.
This is good for Matthew. He gets to be put in a situation. He'll be good. He'll have the time of his life. This is it.
Oh, he's the best golfer of
I
all
wouldn't
12
know
of us. So.
He'll be the most sober. So he'll beat all you guys.
Until his uncles give him a few drinks, and then he's going to be barfing at night. So I got to watch him.
Oh man, well, that's good. That's exciting. But that's the thing, eh? For those people like most of us haven't traveled in a couple of years, and you want to pick up and go somewhere, and you realize your passport's going to expire. It's been expired. The lineups to get passports and the waits to get passports are ridiculous.
No, you can't.
It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Hey, dude.
My daughter's just...
Have you flown lately out of an airport?
December I did. That was the last time.
Oh, my God. It's like you want to punch yourself right in the nuts. It is horrible experience nowadays. Like I
heard Air Canada's brutal.
Oh, Air Canada's terrible. It's terrible. I can't tell you how many delays. And then WestJet as well. And then just canceled flights everywhere. And the security lines and the baggage, and I travel, I try to only travel with the carry-on, because the thought of put my bags underneath and God knows where they go is just terrible.
Yeah. Did you go to Hamilton?
I haven't lately.
Try to go to Hamilton.
They changed a lot of. There used to be so many more flights out of Hamilton, but most of them have moved back.
Because they go to Calgary, don't they? They go to Calgary a lot. WestJet goes to Calgary a lot.
Yeah. But I was already out west, so. But Hamilton's great. Hamilton Airport's awesome. Parking's right there. It's small. You get in, you get out. Everything's good. I hope they get more planes and more flights there. I mean, that would be very cool. But so it is what it is. I had an interesting guest a couple weeks ago. My wife used to be I've mentioned on the show, a flight attendant for Mark Cuban. So flew all these sports teams all over Dallas and Texas and stars and entertainers all over the world. Anyways, her, the lady that she, oh boy, there's the killer. There's killer. The lady that she used to fly with is now the flight attendant for Drake. So Drake's plane goes in and out of Hamilton. So she came over and to see my wife, and she stayed over, and we were shooting the shit. Now she can't tell me anything, right? Because obviously, you're dealing with one of the biggest entertainers in the world. Everything's off. There's nothing off the record. So, but very cool. To kind of get a sense of where they travel, what they do, how many people go, all that kind of stuff. Very neat. Very neat. It's just a sidebar because it just popped into my head.
That's awesome.
I mean, she's like, we're going here, but I can't tell you where we're going, and we're gonna be gone for a bit, but I can't tell you when. It turns out they just went to Ibiza, so it must be nice. Say, hey, fire up the jet. Let's head down to Ibiza, hang out there for a few days, and we'll go over here and go over there. I mean,
Didn't you like give yourself some hours when you work for that jet company? Couldn't you just do that and fire it in your name?
That'd be good.
You should
I
have done.
if I want to
That'd have been good.
use, the jet, I can use it, but I try not to. I mean, unless it's necessary, right? But while I was working there, I had whenever I wanted it, so that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool experience. And, the reason I bring that up is because when you fly now the commercial way, I can see why. So for our listeners, I used to sell private jets. And before I took the role where I'm at now, which is a very cool job, met a lot of cool people. So obviously had a lot of money. But the one thing these guys or girls or businesses would give up last is their jet, because you can't buy time. And now going through these airports and dealing with that crap, you can see exactly why the benefit of doing that. Now that's the 1%ers of the world. You and I and everyone else got to fly commercial, but
yeah. But I think I talked about this in a couple of shows ago, but I think we flew charter twice. Yep. Maybe when we played. We went to Saskatchewan the one time. We brought those 10 fans with us, and it paid for. They paid $1,500 to pay for their flight, to have a pregame meal with us, and a ticket.
Yep,
that's $15,000. I think it was $20,000 to charter it. Why wouldn't you do it? They charter
everywhere.
Ticats charter all over
they charter everywhere. Like even with Osh tonight, like after the game, those guys go away. They just pack up and they're gone.
So they're not on planes cutting people's ties when they're sleeping or putting salt in their mouths.
Buddy.
Remember when we used to go down, we used to walk, it was like we'd leave in the morning early, guys would be snoozing, seats would be back, we'd be sitting with just the general public, just anyone could be sitting in the middle. These guys would fall asleep, our players, and their mouths would be wide open. We'd go and dump salt down in their lips. Remember, about packets of salt. We even did it to a person we didn't even know. Guy was snoozing, we dumped it on his lip, walked away, and all of a sudden spits out. Remember,
Dude,
you go to jail now for that stuff.
We were so bad.
Well, how many ties did we cut? God. We cut so many ties.
The only thing that saves you now,
rookies ties.
The only thing that saves you now is the fact you can wear a mask on the flight. It actually covers your mouth, because you were never safe. You were never safe the moment you stepped on that plane. So it all depended on who was going to sit beside you, who was in your aisle, who was nearby you, and then who was going to stay up during the flight, because whoever stayed up crushed everybody that fell asleep. How dare you fall asleep on a flight? If you fell asleep on a flight, you paid the price. Even coaches.
After we were there for a while, they put most of us all together, right? Because we'd play crib and stuff, all that fun stuff. But the majority of the guys would have one eye open when we were up.
You have to.
Always. You have to, because we crushed everybody.
Oh my God, the beatings, and then the crawling up and down the aisle, and I had to tell you a story. I got to find it in my text. So you just talk about something until I find this darn thing. It was a note from
Hacker.
No, but Hacker did send me a note today. I wanted to know, who was the guy that used to give the team weed when we played? Who was the name of the guy? We won't say his name, okay? But he said, he was like, I don't know why he's asked me that question. But you remember, Mark, Ronnie's grandson. No, Ronnie's grandson, Mark. I'm forgetting his last name, for God's sake. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I was forgetting his name. Anyway, and his parents, you don't even remember Mark. Anyways, who's now one of the coaches in Calgary, quarterback coach. It'll come to me in a bit. But I was telling the stories, or we were telling stories about Danny. I think it was our talk with Danny and Ron, and just all the fun stuff. And Mark's mom and dad sent me a note, and I just have to find it. And I probably should have did this again ahead of time, but who's kidding who?
It's okay.
You've been frozen on my screen for 15 minutes.
But can you still hear me?
I can still hear you perfectly.
Well, that's all it needs to be, because all our listeners just listen anyway. They don't watch, so we're good.
This is true. And of course, when I need to find this, I can't find it. But the story was basically talking about, Here it is. Give me a second. Mark Mueller. You remember Mark Mueller?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
throw the rock.
Lana,
He should throw the balls.
And Lana, his mom, and Larry Mueller. We remember Larry. Every time we'd go to Regina, Larry would hook us up. So anyways, they were listening to the podcast, and I guess they're sending links to Bev, who was Ron's, Lancaster's wife, Bev Lancaster. And they were just we were talking to Dave Hack. So she's just said to me, we just watched the podcast with Dave Hack. When you guys talked about the crib games on the plane and crawling down the aisle, it brought back a story that Digger told us. And Digger was the nickname for Ronnie, just for those people that don't know. She said the Ticats arrived in Regina, and we asked Digger how the trip was. He shook his head and said, well, I was sitting in my seat. I hear someone barking like a dog. I look down the aisle, and there's my starting quarterback crawling down the aisle and barking like a dog. And then he started to laugh. And she just said, Digger always wanted you guys to remember the good times, to make sure you made lasting memories. And she said, listening to these podcasts, it brings back those memories. But you know what? That has a lot to do with it right there. Yeah. Ronnie and Sudsy let us have fun. And I think that's a big part. And I'm not saying that coaches don't, because I know a guy like Mike O'Shea is all about having fun, letting the players do their thing. But they let us do stuff. If it was a different coach, I'm not sure. Well, first of all, I'm not sure we would have had the same result. But I'm not sure we would have had the same experiences to be able to tell these stories and laugh about things the fun we had, right? I think that's a huge, huge part of it.
If we had like a Cal Murphy.
Yeah, like it could be anybody.
Like those guys. I'll tell you one thing though, the business side of it, our coaches, whether it be Sudsy or Ronnie, remember, if we didn't have a suit on and tie, and at the airport, you're fined. They don't even, sometimes they want you to come out. You had to have that jacket. Like, it was a business trip, and they structured it as a business trip, but it was a laid back, have fun, don't be disrespectful to people on the plane, which we never were.
No.
But having fun on the plane and doing that stuff and being loose, that's why we won games, and that's what made us successful, and they allowed us to do that. But the business side of it was you got to wear a suit. And some of the suits we had back then, remember those big suits? Remember Montford suits? Remember Montford suits?
Oh, God.
Montford had the double-breasted suit, the gray, with the bell bottoms at the bottom. Couldn't even see his shoes. That's how big. It's so big. And then we're not talking 70s bell bottoms. We're talking the suit, the wide leg all the way down. They look good, but oh my God.
You know what we got to do? I got to go back and look for some pictures of some of the group shots of us, like not football shots, just us out and about. I got to go find them, and we just got to critique some of the outfits. Because there were some, like Gonzalo Floyd, remember his suit? First of all, there was 15 buttons down the front of them. They went all the way down to his kneecaps.
15. And he used to wear his claw. He'd wear the claw.
Yeah, he had the glove.
He had the glove.
Was taped up still from practice 4 days ago.
Yeah, he kept it on.
He had the stains on it from eating people's food at the crib table. Oh my God, the characters we had, and a bunch of goofballs, but you're right. It came down to the coach, man. They let us do their thing. I had Don Matthews in Toronto. I was blessed again. He was another one. Now, Don was really laid back.
Yeah,
Don would let you do almost to the point. Well, he'd give you enough rope to hang yourself, right? Yeah. And if you hung yourself, you're gone. And but he was in some ways, he was similar to Sudsy and Ron, that he wanted us to have a good time and be together as a team. But he was way looser on the rules. Like Ron and Sudsy were still rules guys, right? Yeah. They just let us be who we were. That's what the good part was.
It's staying on this topic for a minute before we get out of here. Don't you think that this is just what I've been hearing with what happened with Kahari? So I heard that he was a great coach, players coach, laid back, but I guess Machocha, who was the GM, who was probably wanting that spot from day one, always wanted to get back on the field, right? You're a GM, and you know what? You don't say I'm the interim coach for the rest of the season when you could go find somebody or have someone on that staff that could do it. He wants it, and it was bad. So that's what I'm saying. There was no discipline. There was no, basically too much fun. Well, Machocha, when I went to Edmonton for those 3 games, he was the coach when I was there. And,
yeah.
It was business. Like you can see him on the sidelines now. Like he just looks mad, right? Just looks mad at everything. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know too much about what the situation with Kahari, but a couple things I did hear is that he was laid back. He let his players do their thing, but you know what? There's injuries. There's a lot of factors that go into losing football games. So I don't think it would have been. I don't think it was Kahari. Yeah, I don't think you can't hear me anymore.
No, I got you now. No, Kahari is a bit. He's the old school, right? He was our generation. He was always a very chill, laid back guy. I just think that situation was set up for failure for him from the get go. I mean, it was like, how do you get on that? So, kudos to the Cats for bringing him on because Kahari's a good dude. Knows his stuff, smart guy, great community guy. And I know there's some rules around, consultant versus coach, whatever. I'll let the CFL figure that stuff out. But the fact of the matter is he makes the Ticats better. So he
does.
If he can help that, whether it's the quarterback room or whoever, that's a good thing. And
I got a lot of picks from him too.
Oh yeah, he was good. He was good for you to get some picks.
Yeah, I love playing against him. He was just a solid guy.
He used to sling it, right? Remember that wind-up, Rob? He would take that ball from way back and let her rip, and mostly to Stiegel.
Yeah, he was great. What a competitor! What a quarterback!
Well, listen, I think we got to go. I think this is it. Butko, you there? Are you asleep? Oh, there he is. So listen, no stress, but we need a guest for next week. This is it's unacceptable at this point in time.
Yep.
I mean, we're a draw.
You're frozen.
Right? We're a draw. You know this, Like we're people. There should be a lineup of people that want to chat with Rob and I. And so
you better get it on and do your job and earn your money.
Earn your money, and have.
Well, sign us off, Meatsy.
All right, listen, Robbie's got to go. He's got to comb his hair. For Rob Hitchcock, Mike Morreale, and the illustrious David Butko, this is the Morreale and Hitch podcast here on the Ticats Audio Network. We'll talk to you soon.